Welcome to welcome heroes and villains to Fjook Enterprises YouTube channel. As always, I'm your host Fjook, and like my last video, I'm going to let the guest introduce themselves.
Hi, I'm Phil. I play online games, RPGs mainly. Living in the UK in a small little duchy called Cornwall, which is the southwestern tip of the country. It's the furthest point south and the furthest point west.
So, how did you get into tabletop role-playing games?
Well, when you're my age, in school, part of the curriculum was to read The Hobbit. So that's the first sort of introduction I had to that sort of genre of book, I suppose, really, and I enjoyed that. Off my own back then, in my own time, I read Lord of the Rings several times. I really sort of got into that whole sort of feeling of that sort of story, that sort of genre of storytelling, and maps as well. I like maps. I think really came from Lord of the Rings, and then I suppose I saw Monsters and Mazes with Tom Hanks, and I thought, oh yeah, that's sort of got an idea of what the game is like, because I already heard about Dungeons and Dragons, didn't know too much about it. Saw the film and thought, oh, that's a bit more how you do it. And then a small model shop opened up in our local town, selling obviously models, but they also sold some role-playing games. And I bought the basic set there back in about 1980. And it started from there, really.
How many systems have you played?
Back at the beginning, it was pretty much Dungeons and Dragons and Call of Cthulhu were the only ones we played. Then I sort of took a long break from it. Things happened, and we left school and college, and everyone split up and went away, and all the group broke up, and I didn't play for a long time. But since I've come back, it's hard getting a live group. So since I started playing again online, I've played a lot of different systems. I'm very lucky to be in a group where we have 3 or 4 different GMs, and we'll just try different systems. Oh, that sounds good. We'll try that. Oh, we'll try that. So we've played. The Cthulhu percentile system, obviously, the D6, D20, Fudge, Savage Worlds. Yeah, we played all different systems, but on all the different games using those systems, we've played a lot of games actually.
So, how did you go from being a player to being a game master?
I suppose for me that was reasonably simple, because once I'd bought the basic set, I was the only one with the rules. So I ran it from the start, because no one else had the rules. So I dived straight in. It was a basic set back in 1980, so it had Keep on the Borderlands. So we started playing that, and probably about halfway, 3/4 of the way through that module, I thought, we could probably just do this ourselves. We got a few ideas from that and made up our own game. And just from there, really. And then after, when we started, once we almost got to the end of, we played out the basic set. So we got started on the advanced Dungeons and Dragons stuff, and other people got some rule books, and then I could actually get a chance to play. But yeah, it was fairly easy getting into the GMing for me, because I was the only one there with the rules.
Are there any systems that you refuse to run?
No, I don't think so. All the systems that I'm aware of, I would run. Yeah, I don't think. I know in your last interview, Ronnie said there was a particular system that he wouldn't run. I've never heard of that, so I can't say there's any system I wouldn't run. Probably after hearing about that one from Ronnie, not that one. But no, I don't think there's probably any system that I know of I wouldn't run.
Are there any systems you enjoy running?
Yes, I particularly like 5th edition D&D and the 7th edition Call of Cthulhu. I particularly like those two. Went to the UK Games Expo last year. sat in on played a game there in the evening. It was Eldritch Tales, which is like an OCR, OSR Cthulhu game. That was very good. I bought the rulebook from that. That's a really nice old style Cthulhu game. I like that one as well. But yeah, those three, I think, 5th edition, 7th edition Call of Cthulhu, Eldritch Tales, very good.
At this time, do you have any fond memories of the players surprising you?
Fond memories of players surprising me. Yeah, I mean, there's some nice things they do. Normally, it's in a game where things are going wrong and they help each other out. There was one particular game I did. It was a 7th edition Cthulhu game, and I based it around a Doctor Who story. I don't know if you know the horror of Fang Rock, which takes place in a lighthouse, effectively. And I thought it was a very good idea for a game where they're all trapped in one building. At the end, I think it really worked quite well. The players were working together. I think one player got away, but they were trapped in the lighthouse because the monster came at the bottom, so they were trapped in the lighthouse. And I think in the end, the players decided that the only way they could survive, well, not even survive, the only way they could actually resolve it was to save the world was to kill themselves by the set lights of the lighthouse, effectively. And it was just quite good, but it was a huge team effort, which was quite nice, even though they ended up dying.
Any moments of everything going perfectly that are fond memories?
Going perfectly. Yes, I ran a D&D quite a while ago now. Again, the players were in a problem right at the very end of the game. Actually, they were in a problem. One player was particularly in trouble. They'd gone through a door somewhere else, and they couldn't get back. And the effort the other players put into to get them back was really, really good. Yeah, that was. I've got a fond memory. The player wasn't meant to have gone through the door and get into that much trouble. If they stayed there, they were going to die. But yeah, they resolved it. They got the player back, and that was really good.
Do you have any common house rules with so many games under your belts?
Yes, I think probably the best one is don't let the rules get in the way. If the story is going a certain way and it's good, then don't let the rules ruin it. The rules are secondary to the storytelling. Is the house rule, I think.
As the penultimate question, do you have any advice to your fellow game masters out there?
Yes, I would say don't be too worried. If you've got a plan for the game, it's not going according to plan, then don't worry about it. Just let the players run with it. Just have an overall framework, I think, to hang the story off of, and let the players make their own trouble for themselves, really. Again, don't let the rules get in the way.
As the last question of this interview, do you have anything that you would like to shout out that you're a part of?
Yeah, so our group, actually, we do have the group we play in. There is one or two particular guys that actually Ian White actually is quite good at writing games and books, and James Gantry is actually a games producer for Feral Games Inc. We're lucky we get to play test, but he has made several games now, several role-playing games, Black Iron and Relic, not Relic, sorry. What I'm thinking of, what's the Seekers is a good one. Ghost Ops is a really big one, which is a modern military game. You play special forces teams. That is a particularly popular one. There's a huge Facebook community for that one, especially in the States, actually, for that one. A lot of ex-military play it. But yeah, that's and I've been lucky enough actually to do some maps for him for that. Actually got some maps published, which is quite nice.
As always, don't forget to do the YouTube things like comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.
Thank you very much.